Hey, yo! Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? Ladies and gentlemen, how we doing tonight, everybody? Welcome on in. My name is Percussive173. It is an absolute pleasure to be here tonight. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal Friday. You guys have made it to the end of the week. And tonight, I can honestly not be more excited to be here because we got some really interesting conversations today on the PSP podcast. And for those of you guys who have never been in before, my name's Percussive173 because I am an absolute drummer and I've been drumming since I was 5 years old. And this is why tonight we're going to talk a lot about music. We're going to talk a lot about content. We're going to talk about, you know, just like how everything is just going so awesome. And like, chat, I don't know if you guys realize yet that I am actually a creator at DreamHack this year. So I am a creator. You can use code Percussive173 and you can save yourself some tickets. You can come see me in Atlanta, which I actually could not be more excited for. But yeah, also sometimes I do stumble on my words, but that is perfectly okay because everything is normal. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're not gonna wait much longer. I think we're gonna go ahead, kind of get things started. It is that the recording button works.
Right now, we're having soft tacos.
Yo,
later.
what up, Echoes? So we're gonna go ahead and get things started here. So without further ado, let's roll it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in to the PSP podcast, featuring your friendly host, Percussive173. Let's freaking go! I downed him! Oh, I got it! 508 meters!
I'm pushing everything right now. He gets to Lockman. Dude, this Lockman is so good! Oh my god, I'm disgusting! So what do you think about that play, huh? What were your thoughts?
Not very smart, man. Not very smart, man.
It happens, man. Hey, well, come back. We'll try it again, okay?
Very smart, man.
It happens. Shit. I guess I'm just gonna shit on him. He's dead. Did I just ace? I just aced. Let's go. Easy triple. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to have you be a part of the PSP podcast. And I'm your friendly host, Percussive173, and let's have a freaking party. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. My name is Percussive173, and welcome back into another incredible episode of the PSP podcast, where Perk spreads positivity. And you know, this is the place where we bring the energy, we share some laughs, and we spotlight creators who absolutely inspire people to be the most amazing people that they can be. We learn about their journeys, and we learn about what they're known for. And it's honestly, this podcast has turned into one of my absolute favorite events to put on, because some of the creators that we have had on here have some truly amazing stories and some truly incredible just words of wisdom. And today's episode is extra special because we're diving into one of my own personal favorite topics, the world of music, and with none other than Echoes Nation. And for those of you guys who do not know anything about him, he's a creator who blends passion, rhythm, and community into pretty much everything that he does. And I've had a bunch of different like side-by-side communications with him, and he's a freaking awesome dude. I know for a fact I've met him in person on multiple events in the past. And whether you're a fellow creator, a music lover, or here for the vibes, you're definitely here for the right place. Well, Echoes, how are we doing tonight?
Chilling, bro. What's going on with you?
Oh, I'm just chilling myself, watching the Guardians get their butts kicked, unfortunately. But you know, like, you can't win them all.
Nope. Like I said, I'm over here stressing about the FSU game right now, so we're in the same boat.
No, I feel you there. It's like it's funny though, because like sports is such like an impactful topic, like just like music. And like, I don't know if you know this, but myself, the reason why my name is Percussive173, it's because I've been drumming since I was 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I've been a drummer since I was 5 years old. And I still have a kit. I still play on the side. I still have a drum pad sitting back there. Like, yeah. It's my passion. It's my livelihood. So why don't you tell a little bit of the people about yourself, a little bit about your musical journey? And because we're really excited to get to know you a little bit, you know?
Yeah, man. So my name is Echoes Nation. Some people know me IRL as Chris Francisco. That's what my artist name is. That's my real life name. So I've been doing music a long time. My mom put me in church choir as a kid. That was kind of like my first real dive into singing. And I grew up with a lot of different music. My dad was a very big classic rock, heavy metal like kind of guy. And then my mom was pop music, R&B, like all that whole side. So I grew up on a lot of different in a lot of different lanes of music. And
Awesome.
So throughout grade school, I put myself in school choir every so often, but it was just never like I never felt myself like fitting into there. So I kind of just used to just do my own thing. But then in high school, I really started to take music seriously. I picked up a guitar when I was a sophomore in high school. And when I got out of high school, I moved to Florida, where I had absolutely zero intentions of becoming like a full-time gigger. And I had a couple of jobs that were okay. And then I met a couple people who introduced me to a couple other people, and the ball started rolling, and I started to get some shows. And I started playing some shows on the beach, in the city, which a couple years down the line turned into, you know, me playing 5 shows a week for probably like 5-6 years at least. And Yeah, I've always loved music. I've always been writing music, but I started writing music seriously about 2 years ago. I released my first song in December of 2023. Hence the plaque over here in the corner. That was my other half. She made that. It was super cool. And yeah, so I've been releasing music for the past 2 years, and yeah, I just love music. Music has gotten me out of a lot of tough times in life. Music has um allowed me to kind of put my feelings into something creative that's not necessarily like a rant or anything like that. Like I can be artistic with it, and um yeah, man, music is just such a big thing for a lot of people. So I just love it so much.
I couldn't agree more. Music is one of those like truly inspirational things. From like all the artists back in the day, like to my personal favorite artist Prince, and like just understanding like the evolution of music over the times. It's literally one of my favorite topics to talk about, because music truly, like the words of like the poetry, it's literally poetry in motion. It's poetry personified. It's not only that, but it's put with instruments in like, I always tell people when I talk about music, me being a drummer and stuff, that like one of the most basic forms of musician is of music is just clapping your hands, because
Hmm.
like literally just doing that, it doesn't even have to be in a rhythm. It could just be random claps at any point in time, but it's a beat, it's a rhythm, it's a vibe, and then you start feeling it, and it's just how everything gets going. And like I have a
Fun
guitar
fact.
too. I'm so terrible at it.
Fun
Let's hear
fact.
that. Mm-hmm.
For anybody that doesn't know, I mean he's pretty popular, so I feel like a lot of people would know him. His name is Charlie Puth.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
watched I've watched so many like videos and documentaries. I don't want to say documentaries, but more like videos and like stuff like kind of behind the scenes stuff of like kind of his style and how he creates things. I mean, this man's made music out of spoons. He's made music out of like knocking on a door. He's made beats off of like turning on and off a light switch. Like when I tell you, like if you know what you're doing, you can really make anything out of something simple, even just like a snap, and you could make however much music you want with just a snap.
Absolutely agree. And like that's why I tell everybody, like, because I've taught people how to play drums before. And like drums, when I talk about drumming and I talk about percussion, hence percussive, all that stuff is from the heart, man. And it's like
Hmm.
it's literally just like you know it when you feel it, when you have it, you know it because it just happens. And like so many people just kind of like overexert themselves and overthink it, thinking like when they're like the basic 2-3 clave rhythm, like the like so many people just overthink it, and then they start freaking out about it and they can't keep it going. And then eventually it just internalizes and it becomes like a momentum, and it's like turning that into like a whole groove, and then you just start vibing, and like it's it's all just the feel and the vibes, and I that's why I absolutely love it.
Hmm.
So I know you said that you grabbed a guitar, you started singing, and like you started making it on the beach and all that jazz and all the fun stuff. But who is some of your biggest musical influences?
So I it's crazy because if you don't know me, and this has happened on many occasions. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people say I sound like Chris Daughtry, which is
All right.
which is really interesting because that was one of the guys that like growing up I really listened to. Like he was one of the guys that kind of like not necessarily modeled my vocals after, but like really learned a lot vocally from him. Um, Another one would probably be Adam Levine from Maroon 5.
Oh, W.
Because Maroon 5 was another band that I really grew up listening, but Adam with his falsettos and a lot of his high notes like that. I used to like that's how I would practice doing those falsettos, and when I would do Maroon 5 songs. Um and then I think from like my love for country music, I think a big one for me is Chris Stapleton. And
Oh, hell yeah.
that's just because like he has a way of like it doesn't matter like what song he does, he always finds a way to make you feel something. Um whether it's like the way he does a song, whether it's from a lyrical standpoint, whether it's like it doesn't matter. Like that man, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of artists out there that can put out songs and they're kind of just like this, like they'll have like the popular song here and there, and then like they come up with an album, and like, you know, there's some songs on the album that are super cool and whatnot. But like with Chris Stapleton, he's one of the only people that I know that can come out with an album and not miss on a song.
Yeah, Chris
Because everything's so different.
Special.
Yeah.
He's definitely like very special. Like my favorite artist of all time has been Prince, and not just Prince, but like Michael Jackson, and like going back like the Rolling Stones, and like the huge, like the artists that became big just doing their own thing, like the Clash and like the Pretenders, and like there's all these incredible artists that come around. But what's really interesting right now, and I hate pop music, like just as like a rule, I absolutely hate it, but Sabrina Carpenter is killing it right now, like with everything that she's been doing.
I think someone like Sabrina Carpenter, I think a lot of people nowadays are really attached to the catchy stuff. Like
Right.
if something just has a really good rhythm and it's soothing for their ears, like they're in. And I think Sabrina does it in such a unique way. A lot of people compare her to like the Dolly Parton of our generation, which I can see.
That.
I can see it because again, another one of those people that like she's just super unique. And like if you go to like a show of hers, like her shows are always like the production is next level.
Oh yeah.
So I mean people like Sabrina, even like a couple years ago when Olivia Rodrigo came on the scene for the first time, and like she had her own kind of sound, and she kind of just popped off again. But then again, I think Olivia was more of a lyrical standpoint because, you know,
Right.
she wrote songs about heartbreak, about you know, feeling like this and feeling like that, and you know, a lot, and that's another thing that people latch onto is relatability. Like if they can relate to the lyrics of a song, you're good. Like if your song has a message that they can say, "Holy crap, I feel you, girl," you know, like that's what they want to hear.
My thing with Sabrina is this, and I like talking about Sabrina, especially in terms of music. My brother's a musician too, and we're both like in awe of some of the stuff that she's like done. But Sabrina is more like, it's a melodic catch. It's a completely different style. It's the harmonies that she puts forth in like each one of her like different styles of runs. And like her music just kind of standalone is just very bare bones, and like kind of is just like it's like I don't want to touch it. But the way that she puts it together from a vocalist perspective is really freaking impressive. Like that, and also like Chapel Roan, like those types of musicians.
Yeah, it's all about how you build a song, and it's not even necessarily just like, it's not necessarily like, yes, it's choice of instrumentation, because choice of instrumentation, like some people's ears can be super perked literally just by hearing like a violin or some kind of strings or like some kind of weird sound that they're not used to. But yeah, the biggest thing is like harmonies and vocal layers, and and that comes down to like a mixing perspective, is like finding a way from start to finish to really grab someone and just also throw those little nuances in there, which we like to call ear candy.
Yes.
And just that little stuff that like you wouldn't normally think of, but like then people hear and they're like, ooh, I like that. Like, and it could literally be like a vocal run. It could be like a, kind of a breakdown in the beat, and all you hear is the voice. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of create that effect. But yeah, that's like super important. And again, that comes down to like having someone, kind of that like having people around you that you can kind of take these songs and you can send them and be like, listen, like I hear one thing, do you hear something else? And they're like, well, what if you add that? And oh, what if you add that? and then like all of a sudden it just like comes together.
It's kind of like how like so what, Jazz of Fish. So I'm a jazz musician at heart. Like when I started, when I was in high school, I learned jazz. I was a vibraphone guide. I was a section leader of the wind ensemble, section leader of the percussion ensemble. I played in the contemporary youth orchestra in the city of Cleveland, conducted by Liza Grossman, where we got to play some really highlighted artists like Styx, DMX, Yes. Like we did have John Anderson from Yes, and that was one of the coolest experiences ever to be able to play at Severance Hall and have John Anderson as we're singing like Runaway on that. And it's just really, or Roundabout. I don't know why I said Runaway. I don't know why I'm thinking of Kanye. I should not be thinking of Kanye. But it's it was just really cool to like see things. But as a jazz musician, like the way that I kind of see Sabrina doing things is a lot like a vibraphone soloist, and I think it's really cool.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, so do you remember the first piece of music content that you ever made? And how'd you really feel when like you kind of put that out there for the first time?
Are we talking original music?
It doesn't have to be original, because you know what? The first musical content I ever made was in the jazz ensemble when we did Tower of Power. So I mean, like, and that's out there. That's out there in YouTube to the world.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean I'm gonna go from an original standpoint, because
okay.
this was probably, and I'd probably have to check my YouTube to see when I released this. I'm actually, let me take a look real quick, because
Yeah, for sure.
I want to make sure I have my facts straight before I just come out here and say this and say that.
I just say
let's
things
see.
and sometimes they're wrong and sometimes
Yeah.
they're
Oh,
right.
yeah. Okay, 6 years ago. Okay, I was right. 6 years ago.
W.
I was kind of, I think this was the point that I started to kind of get into writing music, because I had done cover gigs for a couple years, and I was like, like I hear all these people coming out with their own songs. I'm like, it'd be cool if I can do my own, like, cool, like, oh, I want to be with them. And so I was just in my room, and I just started playing these like very, very simple chords. It was like I think it was just like a C to G kind of thing. I started playing around some different rhythms, and before I knew it, like I had a song, but like it wasn't a song that necessarily made sense, but it was a song. And so one of my best friends at the time, who's still one of my best friends to this day, I texted him and I said, hey, like I got this song. I was like, I don't know what you think about it, but like I sent it to him, and he was like, bro, he's like, I got a guy who can record this for you. And I was like, oh, I was like, bet. And so we went to his house, because the standard nowadays is people having studios in their house, because studios are very expensive to record at.
Yes,
Not everybody's got the money like that. So we went to his house, and it was such a surreal experience, because that was kind of like my first like real taste of like recording in a studio. And yeah, we recorded that song. I posted it on YouTube because I was like, you know what, like I want other people to hear this. I listen to it now and I'm like, what in the world was I thinking? But like it like I go back and listen to it sometimes, because it reminds me like how far I've come from like that point, especially from a songwriting perspective, like from there to now. And like some of the stuff I write now is like way different. But it was cool in the moment. I definitely feel a little embarrassed now, but like at the same time, like it's I can watch it and just kind of be proud of like where I came from. So,
And that's always like one of the beautiful things in music, is being able to just create and like see where you came from. Content too. It's like when I look back and see my first video, it was a Naruto sound, or I did Shadow Clone Jutsu, and in the actual like recording was so bad, it was at like 720p, and it was just awful. And like you could barely like watch it or like see it. And like now, like going into the 4K quality and like learning how to actually manipulate 4K content, how to actually understand different audio cues, learn from an audio engineer, become your own audio engineer. It's just so cool, like putting that through like the world of content to see like where you came and like just know where you're at and like where you're trying to go. It's a refreshing thing to kind of see. So my brother is the person who writes music in our household. My brother has a band in New York. I'm not gonna call him out because I don't like doing that with family, but or just period. I think. Well, actually, you know what? Some people might know his band because I'm pretty sure he has a venue coming up in a couple weeks. But anyways, so he's the person who writes music in our household, and he went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and that's like one of the coolest schools to ever go to because you have a huge conglomerate of like musical people coming together who are really advanced at what they do, and they just bounce ideas off of each other, and it's just such a cool experience. So do you have any experiences kind of like that where like you hit a collab in music and you just come up with something great?
Yeah. I that so I met during COVID time. I met a guy by the name of Kevin Apperson,
Okay.
and I so wish that him and I talked more, but you know, he's had a lot kind of going on in life, and I have a lot going on in life, and we don't necessarily text too often. But I met this guy during COVID times because when COVID happened, a lot of us lost all of our gigs, and we unfortunately needed to find a way to make money. So the girl who booked all of us decided, hey, y'all come to my house, and we're gonna do like a Facebook music series where y'all can come on, y'all can play whatever you want, covers, original, all that stuff, and like people can directly tip y'all. She's like, I can't pay you any money out of pocket. She's like, because obviously like we're all in the same situation, but she's like, at least y'all can try to make up some, even if it's a tiny bit of little income. And so the first night, it was like I think it was like three of us guys. I think it was like three of our main guys that were on the roster. And so Ken at the time had not necessarily heard me sing before. So like he kind of heard my whole set, and he was like, dude, he's like, you're really good. He's like, I would love to like write some music with you. I don't know like how you feel about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I've been trying to find someone to write music with because like it's tough for me to do it on my own. So yeah, let's do it. And so I went over his house and we sat down, and he goes, all right. He's like, what kind of song you want to make? I was like, I'm a country guy. He's like, okay, like I'm down with that. And he's like, what do you want the song to be about? And I was like, like I would love for it to be like a love song, something like, something about a girl, and like, you can get into arguments, and no matter what comes in the way, like you can overcome it, and yada yada yada. And we kind of went back and forth with it, and then we recorded a demo of it, and nothing happened. Like we recorded the demo of it, and we sat on it for like 2.5, 3 years, no joke. And I went to Nashville and met a guy named Grayson Rogers, who I already known Grayson. Like him and I have interacted online. He doesn't stream as much anymore, but we connected, and so like we met up. And I was asking him, I was like, hey dude, I'm like, do you have like anybody in Nashville that like, like who does your producing? And he was like, oh, so and so. And I was like, okay, cool. So I shot him an email, and I was like, hey man, I was like, listen, I was like, I got this song. It's a demo we've been sitting on for like a couple years, and I want to see if you can do something with it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Like, just let me know. And he heard it and emailed me back, and he said, dude, he's like, I would love to do something with this. He's like, but with your permission, he was like, I would love to kind of change this around. I was like, cool. I was like, you do you let me know. And then I went to Nashville and I sat in the room for the first time and heard the entire new track for the first time. And I damn near about bawled my eyes out because it was so cool that like an idea that the two of us had a few years back that we literally said to each other, like, this could be a big song. But we just never did anything with it. And so for a guy in Nashville to take it and do what he did with it was just incredible. And literally between the four of us, because he had a guy who does his mastering. So like between the four of us, we came out with literally my biggest song that I've ever released. So I think that whole process just in a few years was so sick. And just to see like a song like that come out of it.
And that's honestly from my brother's talked to me about this, but like that's about how long it takes, man. It takes years for things to go down the pipeline. There are songs that you could make like years and years ago that all of a sudden become discovered by somebody from SoundCloud, like just browsing. And then they're like, you know what? I could take this and I could do this with it. And holy shit. And it's so badass. Like that's amazing, man. Echoes, that's an awesome feeling to have something like that happen. And like for someone to pick up your stuff and like create something special with it. But like, it's so difficult to be like an undiscovered artist, and especially from a music perspective. And I say undiscovered because like, well, people know who you are now, but like, it's so difficult for someone to just go down there, like write an incredible song and just let it sit there. And it's kind of like content where a lot of people get kind of disheartened when their content doesn't get pushed, but it's like, you just got to keep pushing. You just got to keep going. You got to keep showing your growth. You got to keep showing your evolution. And it's just a whole thing.
Yeah. So. It's really tough, man, because music nowadays has kind of shifted into a lot of independent, because record labels, let me just say this, absolutely suck. Plain and simple.
They got bought out.
Yeah,
they all got bought out.
Record labels are very, it's a very tough business to be in. So a lot of people now, you know, are obviously independent, and you know they outsource their own stuff, and they promote their own stuff and do their own marketing and all this stuff. And I can't tell you the amount of times I go into music TikTok and see so many talented people, and it's just like, it's tough, man.
I live on music TikTok.
You know, yeah, it's I mean for me, like I enjoy making music. You know, I know I've learned, and I hope that other people that start to release music will understand this. When I make a song, I'm not making a song with the mentality of, hey, this is going to hit like 1 million streams. I can't. Because if I have that mentality every time, I'm going to put more pressure on myself. And then when I release it and it has 100 streams in like a month, then I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And it's like, then I, you know, then you get down, then you don't want to make music because you're like, well, you know, I thought this song was it, and then it didn't get any streams at all. You have to understand, in the music business, it's literally just like when you post shorts, like gaming shorts. Like you have to constantly be putting out music. You have to constantly be putting out music content, because at the end of the day, like there will be a time that someone will hear one of your songs, or they will watch one of your videos and say, whoa, this guy's cool. Like, I want to talk to him. Like, let me give you a perfect example. I was in a so there's a lot of music react guys on TikTok, and where you can like send them their song and they'll give you their opinion. Some of them kind of blow smoke out of their butt, but some of them actually, you know, have a legit, like they know what they're talking about. And so I was in one specific, and I sent them my song. I was like, you know what? I had just finished this song. Like I kind of want to see what like people who have never heard it before. I want to see what they think about it. And lo and behold, there was a manager sitting in the stream, like a manager for a bigger guy, not necessarily like a guy I think a whole bunch of people know, but like when I went to go look at who he manages, like the dude has like almost 3 million followers on TikTok.
That's
And
awesome.
he literally said, "Bro, I love your voice. Message me. Let's talk."
That's how it all
never
starts.
you just never know who's watching. You never know who's lurking. You never know whose hands it could get, like a song could get to, and they're like, "Yo, yes, like let's do it." So,
And that is a direct relation to content too, and like because this is like, and you mentioned it. It's like you gotta continuously be posting, and you gotta continuously grow your own confidence, and continuously just keep growing in doing the introspective work to allow yourself to figure out, all right, so what do I not like about this, or what do I like about this, and what can I change in the next video? It's like when you write a song or when you create a YouTube short, like you watch that video close to 1,000 times. You listen to that song close to 1,000,000 times. Just yourself. Because
especially when you're mixing the song yourself.
Exactly. And when you're editing it yourself, it's like the same deal. And that correlation is something that I definitely wanted to bring up in this podcast because, like, I'm a content head who loves music. And I really and genuinely think that the world as an artist is so difficult to be noticed now because there's so many different styles of artists. And the only way that you can really get noticed is if you make content that is unique. Content, whether it be music, content, whether it be YouTube videos, it has to be unique in your own. And you got to enjoy it or else people will see it.
Yeah, I think one mistake that I've made in the past like 4.5 almost 5 years is I never put like there was a point in time where like I was really honed in on gaming content and like really honed in on like, oh, like I just enjoy playing games. Like I don't necessarily want to play music on stream that often, but like I just want a game. And like lately I've come to this realization, and I've come to this realization a few times, but I think that interaction that I had like a week ago kind of really put a lot of things into perspective. That I've just been putting focus on the wrong thing. Like I love gaming, don't get me wrong. That is what I grew up on doing. But for me, I know that the best way for me to be happy and to put my best foot forward and enjoy what I do is to do music. Plain and simple.
And to me, it's kind of like slightly the opposite because I love music, don't get me wrong. And I will always love music, and I grew up on music. But I kind of want to make my career in technology and gaming and education because I'm an educator at heart. I want to show people the tricks of the trade. I want to go and bring people in who have developed themselves and learned to be successful, to be able to spread positive notions towards people and like talk about their experiences and lifestyles. Cause like, but it's awesome to find that home. And I call it a home because it's like, it's where you feel most comfortable, but it also at the same time makes you feel the most outside of your comfort zone. And like the best content comes from that where it's like, all right, cool. I know for a fact I don't want to mess this up because it's going to be awesome and it's going to be great. But at the same time, it's like, cool, but I'm just going to do me and make sure that this content is perfect and great. Those like little mindsets, those little mantras, those little mentalities go so far in the world of content and in the world of music. And like, just genuinely, man, just, it's all about being yourself, as you know. Like being yourself and loving what you do.
100%.
So, taking the delve into the world of content, what is that process when you sit down to make content? Do you start with like a vibe? Do you start with a flow? Do you start with like an event? Do you start with like a lyric beat? Like what usually just sparks your creative flow?
Are we talking about when I make a song?
Oh, just I mean, like your content's both, right?
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, so it's kind of like what really sparks you, what really sparks your mood. What do you look for?
Hmm. I think it's just a day-to-day thing for me. I'll wake up in the morning and I kind of just get a feeling for like what I want to do. There's some mornings I wake up and I say, I want to make a song, or I want to go on stream and play music because I'm in a music mood today. Or there's some days I'm like, I'm tired. Like it's been a long week and I just kind of want to chill and I kind of just want to game. Like, play some Fortnite with friends or play Borderlands or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, it's like I see a lot of people like put like schedules out and stuff like that. It's very tough for me to do that because like every day for me is so different. And it's always been super tough for me to stick to a schedule. And I know like people, say up and down, like, oh, schedules are like, how you make it as a content creator. And yes, I do agree. But at the same time,
yes and no.
like, yeah, but yeah. So yes, but on the contrary, like, as long as you go live at the same time or around the same time every day, it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter what it is you're doing. Like people should be there for you no matter what. So as long as people enjoy what you do and you're enjoying what you do, then there's no problem.
The schedule thing is such an interesting point because like no one's schedule is the same day to day unless you're doing content full time. If you're doing content full time, absolutely stick on a schedule, stick to it, do your thing, get yourself your editing times, like process all your stuff, test new things, do that. But like when you're working part time, like myself, part time as a creator, and full time in another job, and your time to edit dwindles from like 40 to 60 hours a week down to 2 to 3 hours a week. It's the schedule isn't necessarily what's going to get you seen, and that's what I found out. It's how consistently do you post content, and then when you do go live for the short period of time that you do, are you having fun and creating a product that's enjoyable?
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of people shift. Excuse me. I've seen a lot of people like shift a focus from like you have I think there's two sides to it. Right. There's one side that people stream 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, right? And that's what they enjoy doing. Do they always post content? Probably not. But like that's what they enjoy doing, and that's them.
And they're seeing.
But then there's the other side that I think a lot of people are starting to shift to, that I've noticed, and I'm also trying to do the same thing, where you stream a couple times a week. Maybe it's like, maybe 2-3 days a week. And then the rest of the time you're focused on either taking what you did in those couple streams during the week and making content out of it, or you're recording new content. You're editing other stuff that you want to post. Like there's those two sides of it. And to be completely transparent, I feel like this side succeeds a lot more than this side. Yeah. At least from what I see. Because again, nothing against those people that stream a bunch of hours, but like if those people are not putting content out, they're literally just streaming to the same people, unless somehow, they get a big host or something and they get discovered by new people or front page and stuff like that. But that's a lot of depending on things rather than knowing, hey, if I'm over on this side and I'm taking the stream time down less and posting content more, at least I have a better chance that people are going to discover that content rather than discover the stream. Because if they see the content, they're going to want to come see the stream. But if they see the stream, do they know where the content is?
And that's like the little game that a lot of people have been starting to play. Like my primary platform is Snapchat. Wow, funny, right? Some dude there's interesting posting on Snapchat. I get more people that come to my streams from Snapchat Spotlight than I do from any other platform, whether it be from TikTok, whether it be from Instagram, whether it be from Twitter. More people come to my stream. They're like, dude, I saw your spotlight and it was really funny. Or so I decided that I want to post everywhere on every platform consistently. And like, I'm going to try to post something every day. I say as I smack myself in the face for not posting anything this week, but
Same.
But again, schedules change. Schedules are different. Like I haven't had the time to do it because I'm focusing on other things and like bigger things. And also, guys who are following, I appreciate you all. You guys are amazing. I see you. I promise. I see you. But it's when it comes to the world of content, when we say consistency, we mean being consistent in however you want to be consistent. It's a journey. It's your own streaming journey. So you do with it what you want to do with it.
I think from my personal experience, and I think a lot of other people can relate to this. Like, I think a lot of people go into posting content where they're like, you know what, I have to post every day. And like a lot of people get scared by that because
but some people can.
Yes. And the other thing too is like, I think people experience burnout quicker that way.
Yes, they do.
Because they feel so pressured to, I need to post every day. It's a quality over quantity game. If you're going to post, let's say 3 times a week, but those 3 videos you post in a week are more quality than when you were posting 6-7 times a week, that's what people want to see. People want to see you put time into what you're doing. And I think that aspect is also tough because, you know, when you want to sit down and create good quality stuff, it takes time. And that's not something that everybody always has. I know for me, there was a time when a lot of things were kind of popping off, and like I'm over here like trying to get all these different videos out, and I'm just like I felt the pressure. I was like I gotta get a video out today. I'm like and then for like a short amount of time, I was working with the guy named Feeds, who, you know, anybody watching this, a lot of people know who he is. A lot of people have had videos edited by him. Like when I tell you that is one of the most incredible people to work with, he really is.
He's
like
great. He's awesome.
It's you know, it's tough for me to justify it every month with bills and all that stuff. Like it's tough. And I'm also just not putting out content like I was. But you know, get you a guy like that. Even like and I'll tell you right now, Feeds, the one thing I love about Feeds is he's very simple. He doesn't try to do anything crazy with your content, but like your content makes itself. As long as you send him like quality stuff, like he'll do the rest. And he'll get that content out on platforms for you. I've seen people that work with him get hundreds of thousands of views on videos before. Like it can happen. So if you feel the pressure to do it yourself, try to seek out, obviously within your means. I'm not telling you to go out and get a $2,000-$3,000 editor, and you know, but if you can find people like a Feeds that can, you know, just help you and do it in an affordable way, like do it. Because I promise you, like when you get into that, like when you start to see that consistency, because I did, like when I was when he was posting for me like 3-4 videos a week, like the numbers kind of started here, but like gradually, like every week you would see them kind of increase. And even if it was just the slightest bit, you know, it's not going to be like a gradual increase every week. It's going to like, you'll see like that slow gradual increase. And then eventually then that one video pops off and you're like, whoa. That's kind of like, yeah. And that's kind of like the payoff. That was me. When I played Black Myth Wukong, which was a Souls-like game, never played it before. I was like, you know, it was a brand new game. I was, you know, getting consistent streams on TikTok, and I was like, you know what? I was like, screw it. We'll stream this on TikTok. I have no idea what I'm doing, and this should be fun. There would be days that I would have 500 to 1,000 viewers at any given time in a TikTok stream, and it was huge. And from that game, I have one video that's almost at 200K, and I have another video that's approaching 100K, which was mind blowing to me because I was like, whoa. But it's sometimes just like doing stuff that you may not necessarily think might be good for you, and then all of a sudden you maybe not necessarily become good at it, but people watching, they're like, whoa, like this is cool. Like I like this guy. Like I posted those videos, those Black Myth, those Wukong videos. I want to say probably like almost a year ago, and I still open my TikTok and I still have notifications of people liking the video and favoriting it and commenting. Like it doesn't matter. Like you just never know. Like people will see that video like 6 months later, a year later. And again, back to the point I made earlier, you just never know who's watching, because somebody could watch that video a year down the line and they're like, whoa, why wasn't this video bigger? Or like, why didn't we do anything with this guy? What are we doing? Oh.
And that's the beauty of like content in a nutshell. Like going back to like what you said, like the video that pops off, like my on my backup TikTok, right? I was like, you know what? I'm going to post everything that I'm posting on my main because I want to see what happens before TikTok implemented the you can't post as anybody else or it's considered non-original content out portion of their algorithm. So back in like Warzone 2, I posted this video about lag switching, and it's on my backup TikTok account. I think it's at 556K right now. So, I'm still getting notifications on it. I think I got a notification about it yesterday, and every time I open my my backup TikTok account, I'm still sitting at 500 followers, and it fluctuates because I don't post any there anymore, where my followers go down to like 540, and then the video pops off, and I have 99 plus notifications in the backup TikTok, and it's back up to like 556. It's just funny to me. It's like that video is still popping off, and we're talking about Warzone 2. We're talking about these things from years back, and like you never know who's watching, you never know who's in, you never know who's following you, you never know who wants to see your content. And that's video, because it was talking about lag switching in an educational format, is what made me want to educate people in the world of content, and what made me want to educate people on how to do things their own way and how to have fun and how to be introspective. And it ties into music because like the musicians say it best, man. It's literally just do what you love and everything will come your way, because it literally all is about what you love.
And another thing too that relates into music super well is everything takes time.
Yes.
Like you can't expect to make a hit song in a week or 2 weeks. I mean, some people can, trust me. Some people have that talent, and I've seen it, and it's crazy. But like anything music wise, whether it's writing music, whether it's, you know, posting content with music, like it's probably not gonna get discovered for who knows how long. Because from what I know, every person that's gone viral on TikTok has been there for a while, and they just kept posting until finally they came out with this song, and everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute. Yes. But then also another big thing too that I've noticed is a lot of these TikTok people and Instagram and Snapchat and YouTube, whatever it is, a lot of these people you're seeing pop up on, you know, shows. You're seeing them pop up on The Voice. You're seeing them pop up on American Idol. And they're like, oh, I know that person from TikTok, or I know that person from Instagram. And it's like, you can leverage that. Like, like shows want to leverage that, and they see, okay, this dude or this girl is popping off. Like, they got, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views, and, you know, this is a face that they're going to recognize. Like, you know, let's have them on the show. They're like, stuff like that can open up the opportunity to so much. But at the same time, like, just because you have like 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get the same opportunities. It doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get discovered by someone who will lead you in the right direction. But you won't know unless you do the work.
Doing the work is the hardest part, and doing the work is the most important part. And goodness gracious, like every time I talk in the podcast, I say this one thing, and it comes up every single time. 95% of what us streamers and content creators do is introspective work. And what do we mean by that? We mean we look back at our content, we look back at our music, we look back at our videos, we look back at our streams, and we're like, all right, cool. When did I see myself losing viewership? Is it something I said? Is it something I did? Is it something that happened? And you can do the same thing now, which is why a lot of people who have been growing from TikTok, and growing from TikTok and getting famous on TikTok, like Chapel and like Sabrina and like stuff like that, and like even like you can go back to see Billie Eilish, doing stuff like that, and I know I'm naming pop musicians, woo, whoop-de-doo,
Yeah.
but like, it's seeing the way people do things where they'll post 10 to 15-second lyrics of their song, of like little tidbits of their song, and saying, if you want to hear more, go check me out on Spotify, or go check me out on SoundCloud, or go check me out on LimeWire, because that still exists now. And it's like seeing that type of stuff, it's like, well, I actually do want to hear the rest of the song, because number one, I love supporting small musicians. I always have, I always will. And number two, it's like everyone's musical story and lyrics are so unique, and I want to listen to them. I want to hear it. You never know. So we have to look back.
There's a big thing with TikTok that I've recently learned from a few guys who have had a lot of success on TikTok. And the one thing that I hear over and over from them is, for example, like if you're trying to get your music out there, it may seem annoying and it may sound way overboard, but like if you post, let's say you make 10 videos with one song, people might think, whoa, that's excessive. Like why? Like you're going to post the same tidbit of the song, or like basically the same song over and over and over again. Yeah. Because the 5th time you post it, or maybe the 10th time you post it, or maybe the 4th time you post it, that video pops off, and you've just given yourself more. You're giving yourself more opportunities to get that song out there.
And the more videos that are associated with that sound on TikTok means that people will look at it and be like, oh, well, maybe I want to use this sound for a specific thing. Maybe I see something in my creativity process. Like,
and that's where a lot of songs on TikTok pop off, is because people use them as sounds. Like you can scroll TikTok and like you'll scroll TikTok and hear this one song, and you're like, where did this song come from? And then you hear it on the radio, like, oh, this is a song that's on my TikTok all the time. Like that's how, and again, that's another way that people can pop off on TikTok, musician wise, is like if people start using your song as sound bites. Like there was a guy specifically that I know that this happened. His name was Alec Chambers. He's a pretty big musician on TikTok, and he did I can't remember the exact song, but he did a Halsey cover. I think this might have been during COVID times, and he posted it, and no joke, almost every video that I would see pop up on my For You page included that sound. And all of a sudden, like you go to his Spotify, and that song's got like millions and millions and millions of streams, because people want to hear the whole thing. They hear the sound and they're like, whoa, like this is super cool. I want to go now listen to the entire thing. And that's what you want. Like you start here, and you're trying to eventually like get them there.
Exactly. And I've seen it on so many different music TikToks too. It's like, I think I know the Alec guy that you're talking about. One of the musicians that I keep seeing over and over, me being a drummer, I think it's like El Safrid or whatever his name is, like the dude who keeps drumming with like
the insane dude. Yeah.
The guy who can drum almost as fast as I can. And I keep laughing, and I'm like, oh yeah, you can do that with one hand too. That's awesome. But why don't I post on TikTok? Because I don't want to. I don't want to be known for that. I like drumming. So my background as a drummer, and like I'm now 35 years of a drummer, and like I'm now drumming off of just a singular drum pad with the rare electronic drum kit that I have in the opposite room because I don't want to annoy my neighbors. But like seeing the stuff that he's doing, man, it's freaking great. And it's like he's learning like the one hand skill where it's like like where you're actually like bouncing your stick the right way, where you're holding it the right way, where you're hitting it on the up, you're hitting it down, and then you're hitting it again while you're going back up, and then you're hitting it down and then back up, and then you get faster at it with practice, and then eventually you're doing a singular roll with your hand, like the quicker it goes, and you're still holding that stick in the right spot, and it's like it's a technique that takes so long to master. And shout out to my instructor Bill Ransom, like that person inspired me with music, and then still to this day I still keep some of the lessons that man's taught me. And it's just really fun, man. Music, there's so many different ways to do music. You could be like the best of the best, you could be the cool flow chill like groove drummer, you can be the Billy Cobham like super flashy flare drummer, you could be the Buddy Rich like the super skilled soulful drummer, like
You can be a Chad Smith.
you can be a Chad Smith where you look like Will
Who can
Ferrell and
literally play
everybody
anything he wants to.
Exactly, he looks like Will Ferrell, that's how he's doing. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That
and
SNL bit was one of the funniest bits I've ever seen, man, where it was
100%.
him and Will Ferrell.
Have you ever I don't know if you watch these, but I super enjoy watching these. Have you ever watched the Drumeo videos where they give them a song and they have to learn it like on the spot?
Yes.
Like, dude,
Yes.
let me tell you, man, like I really enjoy watching the videos. It's so cool watching drummers from like across all different genres like absolutely get roasted trying to learn a song. But like it's so cool like what they come up with, and then they hear the original and they're like, oh, that was so different than what I played. But it's like so cool to hear their interpretations.
The Evanescence drummer learning the Earth, Wind, and Fire one. No, so
That was so sick.
That was so incredible. And you want to know what's really crazy? This is, and like, I thought his redacted version was better, and it was really cool. And I'm like, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. They're one of my favorite favorite bands in the world. But I'm like, whoa, dude, you killed that from a sight read.
Yeah,
That's killer.
I think I have to say like one of my favorite ones. And this is a little bit of a more recent one because they just did, I believe it was a 50th video anniversary, like 50 episode anniversary or something like that. Where Brandon, the guy who usually is behind the screen, he learned it was a President song. And when I tell you, I had never heard of President before, but like I love the pop punk drummers because like it's so cool to see what they do, and to see what he did with that song was so sick. Like it was still pretty different than like what the original song was, but like to see like what his interpretation of it was so sick. And to your other point earlier about like, you know, people doing different kind of styles in music, that even comes down to like people tell me all the time, they'll say, hey, like I have these lyrics, or I'm not a singer, I'm not an instrument player. Do you know how many people move to Nashville to be a songwriter? Do you know how many people make great money off of being a songwriter? Now, I don't know exactly what they make, but like that is such an art in and of itself. Like you don't have to be a singer. Like you can literally like just write lyrics and like put something to it or have someone help you. And then like all of a sudden they're taking that song and pitching it to a big artist. And all of a sudden like they're making royalties like crazy.
Who was the one dude who used to take old, I think it was that one poetry book, right? And it was not Dr. Seuss, but the other kids, like the kids' poetry book. And then he just started turning them into like songs. Like I forget that guy's name, and he would like he would take the old poetry books and like turn them into like lyrics for songs. He wouldn't add anything to them because they're like long, they're like 2-page long poetry things, but he would just turn them into different music like of his own style, and it's really freaking cool. But it's
Let's
like
see.
you're right. I'd have to find it or have to look, but it's honestly it's just the point that like I'm making is just so cool. Like you're right, you can be a songwriter in the music industry, and like I'm not going to be known in the music industry because I don't make music. I make music that I play to music.
Yeah. I think one guy, which I forgot that he did this, was Leonard Cohen. Was one of those guys
Oh,
who used to do that. Because he was initially a poet and a novelist. And like his song Hallelujah was a poem he wrote, and he turned it into he turned it into a song, which was super cool. And obviously that's one of the most prominent songs in history. But I don't know if I know the specific guy you're talking about.
I'd have to find him.
Yeah,
I'd have to find him. But so I said his name wrong. The guy before, like the blast drummer, the guy who can do everything with one hand. His name is Aleste Perios Siberiano.
okay.
Dude is nasty. Like the dude who's like a blast drummer and can do things like that. It's like just insane. And like blast drummers are like very, very skilled, and like so learning metal, learning like super hardcore metal. People are like, "Oh, well, metal's like one of the easiest genres and stuff like that." I'm like, no, that shit is so tough as a drummer. Like, you're not only doing double bass with your feet, you're trying to like perfectly like get both of your feet to do exactly what you're doing with your hands, as well as, and I'm not a double bassist. I couldn't play double bass if you wanted me to. Double bass,
dude, the guys that can do double bass with ease is so sick.
I've never been good at it. The way I do double bass is like, I wish I had a camera to like show my footwork there. So the way I do it is with one foot, where what I do is I go down. It's kind of like what I was explaining. Like I go down and then I hit it on the way up. So it's like you go boom, booga, boom, 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 doom, doom, and like you're doing that with your foot, not with your hand. So, and you're doing that on the way down, where you're doing like a triplet, and then you're turning into like a sextuplet and stuff like that, and you're just trying to double things. Like that's how I do double bass, but I can't do it consistently for a long time. I can only do it in short bursts.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I could talk about literally drumming and the process of drumming for hours, and like the rudiments that you got to learn in order to be good, and like how to properly utilize accents, how to properly ride the ride. Like it all goes back to like jazz stuff, but music, don't ever forget, like there's so much to music. You can't just pinpoint it down. And just like content, don't put yourself in a full-on niche. Let yourself experiment and go to different avenues and explore different avenues and try different things. Never box yourself in. Let yourself flow like the water under the ground. Talking Heads reference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think another big thing that people I think another thing that people have to learn in the music industry is like, you'll release a song, and in your mind, it's a pretty damn good song. But here's the thing: there's always going to be people that love your music, and there's going to be people that don't.
Yep.
And to that point, there's also going to be times when like you start releasing like let's say this kind of music, and you're like, and people are like, oh, like this is a cool sound. But then to your point, when you start experimenting, you're like, oh, then I release a EDM track, or I release a hip hop song, or whatever it is. And all of a sudden people are like, I don't really like what you just did. can you not do that again? But like then there's gonna be the other people that are like, whoa, wait a minute, like that was super cool that you like did something different. Not everybody has the same musical taste, so like not everybody's gonna like no matter how much you want people to like every song you put out, it's just not gonna happen. It's not, and that's a reality I think people need to learn. It's something I learned very early on in music, but also very early on in like the releasing music process. Was every time I released a track, it was like, I don't know what this is gonna do, but like I want to show people the versatility, and
Yes.
like if they can see the versatility, then like I can show, hey, I can work with all different kinds of artists. And that's been like my number one main thing that I've always wanted to show, is like I can do all these different kinds of music, and like I've learned all this different kinds of music, and I'm able to adjust myself and adjust my vocals and adjust like the style that I choose to what I'm doing. I mean, I've done, just in the past couple of years, I've rapped, which I'm not a rapper. I want to put that out in the air. I'm not a rapper. I can write lyrics and I can somewhat have a rhythm, but I'm not a rapper. But that was a cool experience. Like I got to rap. I did like an EDM style track for the first time, which was super cool. I did.
Chef said you guys made a banger country tune.
Yeah, we did. That was super cool. I mean, I love country, and I know he does too. So like that worked out really well. I even made a Latin song for the first time, which was a big hit.
Hell yeah.
And it wasn't something I expected. Shout out to Javon, who made that beat, and like he sent it to me. It was in the middle of the season. I won Underground Uprising and was able to perform at DreamHack. He sent me that beat even before we got into the finals and said, listen, if you make the finals, we're going in a whole different direction. And I said, I don't know. I don't like this. I sat on it for a while and I was like, I don't really like this. But then he's like, dude, do you trust me? And I was like, of course. And he was like, just go with it. And I was like, okay. And it turned out to be a banger. So sometimes it's also just it's sometimes just like it's trusting your gut and saying, you know what, like if I don't do this, like how am I ever gonna know if it's gonna be good or not?
And you talk about different genres and different styles of music, and like, so my musical taste will make people laugh. I will listen to anything from jazz to country, but one of my favorite bands of all time, well, obviously my favorite musician of all time is Prince, but another one of my favorite musicians of all time is Fish. And everyone's like, wait a second, are you like a hippie? Do you like jam band music? And I'm like, yeah, I do like jam band music, bro. And not only that, but like, break down Tweezer for a bit, right? Like Tweezer, you break that down. So it's a very easy riff, right?
Yeah.
But you break it down and it's already doing oh god, what's the word where it's like offbeat? It's like it's not an offbeat, and I'm already messing up the name for it. I don't even know. But it's that alone, it's creating that it's a drive. When I remember the name for this, because there's an actual musical theory name for modulation. Sorry, it's a modulation. So it's modulating it's doing off time beat signatures in a 4/4 beat time signature. And then you start adding in the piano. And now you're going up chromatically. So these rhythms, these styles that they're putting into place, it's such like you'd think such an easy thing to think of, but it's so catchy. And you're adding modulation, you're adding rhythmic connotation, you're going up the story chromatically, and you're adding energy to the music alone. It's such a cool thing to like break music down and just kind of analyze it, man. And like Not everyone's going to like every style of music. You're 100% right. But you're never going to know what music actually fully fits your style until you go out there and do it.
I had a piano player that I met on a whim. So a little backstory to this. So there was a gig I was supposed to do. I think this was it was like a Friday gig, and I think this happened on like Wednesday. Um, the guy I was originally supposed to do it with backed out, said he couldn't do it, and I was like, okay, cool. But the thing about the Florida music scene was like, trying to find someone to cover a Friday gig in a very short amount of time was not an easy task unless you knew everybody. So I put a feeler out in a Facebook group I was in. I said, hey, I was like, does anybody want to come play this gig with me? Like, piano player, drummer, like whatever it is. This guy responds back and he's like, hey, I just moved here from Chicago. I'm like, I think he was like 50 something years old, and he's like, I can play kind of about everything. And I was like, I know a lot of people that say I can play just about everything, and they can't. So I said, okay. I said, cool. I said, come on down. I said, let's see. Literally 2 songs in, this dude was following me perfectly. Like, I didn't have to really tell him the song. Like, I just started kind of playing, and he just went with it. And it was just so cool in that moment. I was like, whoa. I was like, he was even harmonizing at points. Like, he would switch between like piano and like electric guitar. Like, it was such a cool thing to see. And I was like, you don't see that a lot. So, of course, after this, I'm like, I want to keep playing gigs with you, bro, because like this is fun. And like further on down, like we would do it to where his music catalog and my music catalog were 2 very different things. Like, he played in a Grateful Dead tribute band.
Oh,
I don't listen to Grateful Dead, not because I don't like them, because that's just not my style of music. But like, he was in a tribute band. So like, anytime we'd play a gig and somebody was like, oh, let me play a Grateful Dead song, and I'd look at him and be like, have fun, all you. And he would do it. Like, he could hold his own. Like he was a vocalist. Like, he could hold his own, no problem. But I think the biggest thing for me was like, there was a lot of things that I could play that he couldn't. There was a lot of things that he could play that I couldn't. When it came to a lot of the older stuff, like obviously he has that catalog. When it comes to like jazz music, like he he came from Chicago. He played in a lot of the jazz scene, and so like he had that experience. But like at the same time, like he could always play off of what I did, no matter what. And I got to a point where I didn't even tell him a song. Like, I would just start playing it, and he was on it. So yeah, that was a super cool dynamic. But again, that kind of goes back to like, if you can just verse yourself in a lot of different styles of music, you can be way ahead of other people, because you can get yourself to a situation. And this was something I prided myself on then. I still pride myself on now, is like doing songs on the spot. Like, whether it's a request, whether it's a live learn, like, so many musicians are scared when they're in a live environment of doing a live learn, because they're like, I don't want to learn it. I'm going to sound like trash. Like, no, I can't do it. Do you know how much people appreciate you even taking the attempt to do a song you've never heard before? Like, I can't tell you the amount of times that I embarrassed myself so much doing a live learn in a live setting, not even just in here, but just like when I was out playing gigs. And like, that person would come up to me after when I went on a break or something, and they would come up to me saying, you know what? That just made my day. Like, it didn't sound the greatest, but you know what? You did your own style with it. And I just appreciate you so much that you took the time to try to attempt that. And like, it's just stuff like that. It's like, you have to get uncomfortable. And like, you're not going to do every song perfect. Let me tell you right now, there's not an artist in the world that doesn't mess up at one point or another, even with their own songs. And like, people just enjoy watching you have fun. And if you're having fun and you can make it whatever you want, like that can go a long way. And even with me, I would show the camera, but it's very heavy and I don't want to lift it right now. But being a loop artist, and for people who don't know what that is, I have a loop pedal where I can make beats, I can do riffs, I can do like whatever I want. I have all the capability to make a whole track literally on the spot. The thing that's so fun about looping for me, and this is something I think sets me apart from a lot of like like just a lot of live giggers that you see, is I can take a song that I've played countless amount of times, or a song that people have heard countless amount of times, and turn it into something different. Whether it's a simple rhythm change, whether it's a simple key change, whether it's like just anything. It could just be the simplest thing. And people are like, whoa, I've never heard that song like that before. That was super cool. Like, thank you for doing that. It's just, I've always just tried to learn to do things different. And one of the things I pride myself on the most, it's like, again, being someone who makes original music, like I want people to hear a song and say, oh, that dude could have wrote that song, or like, that's a really cool version I've never heard that I kind of want him to record that and do it.
Taking those changes on and like putting your own interpretation to others' music is so much fun to do. And I want to kind of pop back real quick to one of your earlier points where like you're talking about sight reading, you're talking about like learning something for the first time, like playing with somebody for the first time. And I want to give a massive shout out to jazz musicians, because when you are a jazz musician and you go into a solo for the first time, your best friend is your rhythm section, your best friend is your drummer, your bass guitar, and your piano player. And the reason why is because you got to listen to the drummer to make sure you're on the right time. You got to listen to the bass to understand the chord changes, and you got to listen to the piano to understand where to play on the weird spectral blues scale. Which brings me to Victor Wooten being one of my all-time favorite bass players.
I've gotten to meet him. Fun
he's
fact.
So great. I did
Bro,
too. Because he came to Kane Park and we used to and I met Bela Fleck when he was in Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. But anyways, you were saying
yeah, I met him in NAMM in 2020. This was before this was right before COVID happened, but dude, he would like go around and like jump in with people, and like, man, like I've heard a lot of people play bass, but that man is like a whole different level of bass playing, and it's so sick to even see in person. Like, I'm gonna be completely for real with you. I didn't really know who he was until I met him, and like a couple people like introduced me to him, and I was just like, whoa, like mind blown, insane.
Victor's badass, and
100%.
He did this one like video recording like outside of a studio where he was teaching people a little bit about music theory, and he's like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna play every single thing wrong. I'm gonna play, and then I'm gonna go right back, and I'm gonna bring it right back, and then hit the ear note, because you got to understand in each bass line where the ear note is. And so he played the whole thing out of tune in a different style, and then he hit the one ear note, and he's like, oh, he just did something funky with it instead. And it's one of the like coolest things to watch. Like, if I could find that YouTube video, man, like it's so awesome to like sit back and watch someone like that. And the guy from Buckethead, I forget his name off the top of my head, like the guy who from Primus. Les Claypool.
Okay, yeah.
But he is it's just listening to like your bass players, becoming friends with your bass players, going back to the jazz musician statement. It teaches you how to solo. It teaches you how to hit those ear notes. It teaches you how to find the right key. It teaches you how to play into certain things. Like, that's how I learned how to play a Jack White song. Speaking of Feeds, what it do, Feeds?
Hey, there he is.
But and like listening to different styles of music and learning from different styles of music is like learning from different styles of genre, like, or like content genres. and like kind of pushing yourself in. It's like taking certain things you learn from the IRL community, taking
Mhm.
things that you're learning from the Call of Duty community, from the Valorant community, and putting them together into something that's just completely new.
I was saying nice things about you, Feeds.
He was saying very, very mean things. He was like, God damn it, this Feeds person, he posts my freaking content. No, he was saying nothing but good things.
Feeds got.
She slapped.
Oh, wow. Wow. He just said unfollowing, banning, raging. That's crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. I think a big thing for me is like I just enjoyed playing with other people. I enjoy jamming with other people. Like you can learn so much from people just by like having a jam session. Like just going to like an open mic, going to like an open jam session, like getting to meet people, like even like writing music together, like you know, there's stuff that I learn all the time, and you know, there's times when, you know, I'll sit in a room with somebody or like I'll jam with somebody and they're just like, whoa, like I don't know what you just did there, but that was cool. Like I kind of want to do it that way. And it's like you can learn you can learn off of each other. Like
Yes.
like music is not a competition. Just like streaming, just like content. It's not a competition, but a lot of people, the problem is a lot of people have the mentality that they just want to be popular than other people. And it just comes to the point where like, I'll tell you right now, when it comes to me, like I'm a very simple person. I am here to make music. And if somebody approaches me and says, I want to make music, and I'm like, all right, you gonna put the work in? Yeah. Okay, cool. Like to me, like I see everybody that comes to me and wanting to write music or like make a song as a new opportunity to possibly learn something, to possibly make a good song, to
Yes.
you know, even if that song never gets released or whatever it is, like it's there. Like I've had that experience. I can't tell you the amount of times I've written a song and said, I don't like that at all. Nope. All right. Nope.
Haven't we
Nope.
all though? Like we've
Oh,
all
yeah.
done something. Like we all have things that we scrap.
I have an entire folder. When I went to Nashville at the beginning of this year, I have an entire folder of demos that I have not touched. Not because any of them are bad. Shout out to Giant Lemons, because love that dude. They've been sitting in a folder because I kind of, when I came back from Nashville, kind of fell off and didn't necessarily want to make music so much. And now that I'm kind of back in the realm of like constantly like recording music like every week, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go back to those demos and do something with them now. Like it like you just never know. But that also just kind of goes to the workflow. Like everybody has their own workflow. Everybody has their own way of doing things. And the biggest thing I've learned in music is you never want to rush a song. Like I know that some people will tell you, hey, like you should release music like all the time, and you shouldn't be afraid to like, you know, do all these different things and release all this different music. And to a degree, I agree, because you want to, like, especially newer artists want to get in the habit of just releasing music, right? But you also get to a point where you say, you know what? I've released all this music. And now I sit here and I say, okay, now what do I want to do? And what do I want people to know me for? And that's when you kind of take a step back and you say, all right, so now we're going to focus on this kind of music. And then you just like pop it out. And the big thing about writing an album, and a lot of people that watch me know this, but when you write it, when you're writing an album, you will make probably 15 to 20 songs. You'll probably write, demo, whatever. And then you'll end up only using like 8 of them.
Yep.
But you're giving yourself, like, you write those 15, 20 songs to then say, okay, what are the best songs we have here? But that doesn't necessarily mean that the other 12, like let's say you write 20 songs and you only put 8 on the album. It doesn't mean those 12 other songs just go into the trash can. They're there for, when, let's say, someone else comes along and you're like, oh, hey, listen to this demo I have. And they're like, I think you could do something different with this. And all of a sudden it turns from a song you scrapped to your next hit single.
And that's why you always keep everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's such a huge thing. And I kind of want to track back to something you said earlier when you're talking about content versus streaming and size. You know how, like, my biggest ick in the streaming industry, and this is a hot take, is when people think that their size means that they're better than somebody else in the streaming world. Imagine the Rolling Stones or the Beatles looking at, like, some random musician on TikTok and being like, that's why you only have 5 followers. Like, are you serious? It's like, they're not going to do that, because the music industry is special, because the music industry is one of those things where everybody supports everybody, and the streaming industry needs to get out of the size factor and understand that we're here to create artwork. Whether you have 5 followers or 5 million followers, we're still here to create artwork. And that's whether it be in streaming or whether it be in music. Music is an art form. Content is an art form. Streaming is an art form. We are artists, and that is a huge thing that we got to understand.
It's crazy that you point this out, because recently, in the same stream that I talked, the same live that I was in, that I talked about meeting the manager, I met a guy who is from Canada, and he recently just started putting out music, like very, very recently, and has, let me check it, because I actually have his thing saved. He has, well, I think he has more, because I think he just released a new song. He has like 100 monthly listeners, which a lot of people will look at and they'll laugh and they'll say, ha, ha, ha,
no, that's impressive.
But listen, I heard the song that he submitted, and I'm sitting there listening, and I said, and in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, this is such a cool sound, because he's like he reminds me of like a Tyler Childers meets Noah Kahan kind of country vibe. Like, he's got the grit to it, but also he sounds a little bit more indie. And I'm like, this guy would be so cool to make a song with. And like, I go to his TikTok, and he has like a couple hundred followers. And I'm like, okay. And I messaged him and I said, hey dude, really love your sound. Let's make a song together. And it doesn't matter, and like, we don't necessarily differ in size that much, but like, I'm over here with like, 2 songs that are over 10,000 streams, and I've released a bunch of music, and a lot of people know my music, and yada yada yada. And I can sit here and say, you know what, I don't want to work with someone like that, because like, he's just starting out, like, he'll figure it out. I see that as an opportunity, not only for myself, but for him. Because it's an opportunity for him to say, oh, like, someone who's like super experienced in the music industry, like, yeah, I'd love to work with you. And for me, it's like, I didn't know this. I would have never known this guy existed if I wasn't like just in this stream listening to his song. And like, I see an opportunity for me, like, I want to make more country music. This is an opportunity, like, yeah, this guy's got a really unique sound, and I feel like I have I either can create a song, or I already have a song that like he can be on, and like we can make this work. It's all like, there's opportunities in everything, and I hate,
yes,
and I hate people, and hate's a strong word, because I don't like to have hatred for people,
of course,
but I really hate when, for example, like, I'll sit there and I'm like, I want to make a song with this person. I want to make a song with this person. And like, I get ignored constantly. And you know what? That's okay. Fine. But what I really hate is when smaller creators, smaller artists, whatever it is, all they're trying to do is just shoot their shot. They're like, a lot of them go into the mentality of like, if they get a no, like it's like it sucks, like, and they'll take it personally. But I've always gone with the mentality of like, I'll shoot my shot, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like, there's always those people that like have all the views, and there's those people that like have all the streams, and they're like, I like your sound, but like, I don't see any benefit with working with you compared to working with, you know, let's say it's someone that has like 50,000 streams. They're trying to work with like, you know, they're shooting for the stars. They're trying to work with like T-Pain or something. and it's like, why are you sitting there like looking at T-Pain when you could be looking at someone who literally matches your style and you can make a really good song with, but you're ignoring them because they're not at the level that you are. And that's the same thing with labels too. A lot of labels, you can make the best freaking songs. And I've seen this happen so many times. Labels nowadays look at your socials. And if you're not on the level, like if you don't have a certain amount of followers, like I think I saw one video where it was like, this label requested they had like 50,000 followers or something, whatever that was. But like this guy was making super good music. Like I'm sitting here listening to him, like I would like 100%, like I would want to work with someone like him. And the label's like, well, you don't have 50,000 followers on your socials. We can't get behind you. We can't work with you. That to me is just a slap in the face, because it's like, you have an opportunity to take this like a guy like that and bring him to the next level.
Yes.
But at the same time, like like other labels can look at this guy and say, whoa, like this guy's super good and like making super good music. And like they look at the label like, oh yeah, that label got real lucky. And then other labels want to go look for artists like that. Like you could set a good example and then they just don't.
I think it goes back to the mentality of like, we forget that the end goal is to make the best possible product. And sometimes that's in the form of a collaboration, and sometimes that's in the form of a solo artist. But you gotta do it solo. You gotta do it solo to be able to understand how to do it together. And you gotta start continuously make the content to be able to put out a better product. And like, we lose sight of the end goal, and it happens as things grow and as people grow and as corporations become more corporate, and they gotta put everything in a box. They gotta put everything into a metric, and it's so difficult to just stumble on that particular person and just let that particular person like be seen and grow. Because man, it's like it goes to content too. It's how do you get yourself seen? And we've said it a bunch of times. Consistency, but in your own way. And that's such a huge thing. I want to slightly change things up because I want to kind of get a little goofy question in here. I want to ask you, if you had a theme song that was your like entrance music, what would it be and why? If you want me to go first, I have one.
You asked that question, and my mind immediately goes to wrestling. Like it immediately goes to that, because that's literally what I've grown up on. Jeez. I mean, like I think for me, I think something that I've always related to, like the first time I heard it, and like even now I think about it, yeah, it's super silly and people make jokes about it, but like is John Cena's
W.
You know what I mean? Like everybody makes joke about it, like, oh, you
song.
can't see me. But it's like, but it's like if you listen to the lyrics, you can't see me, my time is now. Like, you know, because like in relation, like a lot of people don't see you right now, but like it doesn't mean your time's right now. Altered, that's also another good one. He just Altered just said Edge's entrance song. Like, I mean, shit, that's a classic right there.
It is a classic.
Yeah, I think relatable standpoint for me, I would say John Cena's theme would definitely be something that like I would have 100%.
In mine, Know Your Enemy by Rage Against the Machine.
Ooh, yes.
Because of the lyrics, because I am a massive Rage fan, and because that song fucking kicks, bro.
100%.
It's like anytime like you hear that riff, that like, you know, it's there. It's so great. Plus, I'm a drummer, and then that drummer entrance is just killer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked a lot about the style of music. We've talked about how music kind of relates to content in certain facets. We talked about even our entrance music. But what is one thing that you want to talk to any aspiring creator or any aspiring musician? What's one thing you want them to know?
I'm gonna take this angle from a musician standpoint because I think that's kind of like the main topic here.
Yeah. Go for it.
I think one of the most important things that I've learned as a musician that I would definitely want other people to know is like it doesn't matter how much music you can make. It doesn't matter how much experience you think you have. You're always going to learn something, and you always have to have an open mind, and you always have to take yourself out of the box sometimes, because a lot of times people in music get super comfortable in like one genre or like one style that like and don't get me wrong, like that's fine, like that works for people, but like if you don't give yourself a chance to try a different genre of music or a different style or work with an artist that you would never see yourself with, like you'll never know the lanes that you can go to, and you'll never know the music you can make if you don't do that. So
True.
I would say my biggest recommendation is try to work with different kinds of people, try to listen to different kinds of music, like adapt yourself. Like you don't have to like all genres of music, but I think an important thing being a musician is you should open yourself up to different kinds of music, because you just never know what you might like, and you never know what you might want to end up creating.
It's a W comms right there, because it goes into content as well, and I'm going to take it from a content perspective here. One thing that I preach consistently is as a content creation is paying attention as a viewer before you allow yourself to become a creator. And the reason why I say this is because there are so many creators and musicians and like people out there that I'm not saying idolize, but that you can take information from, that you can take ideas from, that you can take tidbits from to be able to formulate your own style of content. Like I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, 95% of content creation in music work is introspective work. You got to look back to see where things went wrong. You got to look back to see where things went right. You got to learn, you got to grow, you got to put yourself in a position where you want to do it, and most of all, have fun, man. Just have fun. Be yourself. Because that's the kicker. Like, don't try to be someone you're not. The fakeness will literally show right away. And everybody in the scene will know.
And one other kind of small point too is from a collab standpoint, and again, this kind of goes more toward music wise, is if you're going to collab with someone, like you're a team, and you need to work together, but also not like for example, like if I walk into a collab and I know that I have more experience than someone else, like I'm going to I'm going to try to steer it in the right direction, and try to steer that person in the right direction. Say, you know what, like, especially if it's someone that maybe has never recorded before, never really written music before. Like, and I've worked with people like that, in the past couple of years, which is really like kind of opened my eyes and have really made me kind of see outside the box a little bit. But when you're collabing with someone, the number one thing is like, don't fight them. Don't try to think that like you know more than they do. Because I walk into a collab and the number one, and like the first thing I always do is I try to get a gist for like who they are and what kind of knowledge do they have. Because then I say, can I contribute knowledge, or am I in a situation where I'm probably going to be the one learning more than they are? And if that's the case, then I'm here to learn. But I think some people go into collabs and they think that they are kind of at this level, and just because they've met this person and they've worked with this person, and so and so has heard their music, and so has complimented their music, and it's like, that's great, but does that get you consistency? No. That's like those quote unquote feel good moments. Those are like those, oh hey, that's cool to put on my resume, but like I don't go in a collab, for example, like I don't go into a collab and flex that I played in front of Emily Arena for like 10,000 plus people. I don't go into a collab and flex that I opened for Corey Smith. Like I don't flex these things. Like those are cool accolades in my music career that like I'm proud of. But like every collab is different. Every artist is different. And again, back to the point of artists need to work together, not against each other.
It's such an important point, man. And like, there's so much hatred in the world today. So music is supposed to bring in love. Art is supposed to bring in love. Streaming is supposed to bring in love. That's why communities are created through love. And I say love to the point where it's not like, oh my God, I love you. Like it's literally the base of music is about loving each other and loving ourselves. And it's always been the base of religion, loving thy neighbor as I love myself. It's treating people the way that you want to be treated. And we got to start spreading positivity, and that's the entire point of this podcast, is to educate people out there, aspiring creators, to be positive and to spread positivity, but in different ways. In this case, it's through education. So, do you have any final words you'd like to say before we wrap up, Mr. Echoes Nation?
Yeah, I'm just I'm very excited. I'm working on a lot of music.
Let's touch on that for sure.
Yeah, I hope to have some. I haven't released music this year, which is kind of an on me thing. But I hope to have something for y'all within the next few weeks. But I'm working on a lot of music. I'm also working on a big project behind the scenes that's gonna really kind of change the game for me and for kind of where my content goes. Yeah, man, I just love music. Like I love gaming, but I love music, and I'm just happy anytime I get to talk about it, anytime I get to share it, like and talking to someone who appreciates music as much as I do. It's a really cool convo to have. So I appreciated this very much, because I think my soul definitely needed this.
And honestly, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. Like it's always good to have good discussions with people and like-minded conversations with people. It's like, and I keep trying to spread it back to content, even though like I know this is a huge thing about music, because like music is literally love. Music is connecting, but it's connecting through an art form, just like your content, just like streaming. So let's all like love each other and like respect each other and build each other up, man. Stop bringing each other down. Enough of that shit on Twitter. I know y'all are going to hear this. I know there's probably 150 people watching this on Twitter, because that's usually where everyone comes from. Assholes. I have a Twitch too. No, I'm kidding.
Dang, call him out.
I'm going to call him out, damn it. I have a kick too, but no, I'm kidding. All jokes aside, let's start having fun. Let's start spreading positivity. But Echoes, thank you so much. Huge shout out to Echoes Band Fam, Percussive 173 and the PSP podcast. If you guys are not following Echoes, Get your booty cheeks over there. Follow his music. Go give him a handle on Spotify. Go drop him a follow and check out his stuff. And if you guys vibe with this episode, please make sure you guys are showing the love, show the support. And as always, I'm your host, Percussive173, reminding you to keep chasing your passions, keep spreading love and positivity, and most importantly, keep the music alive in your heart. Until next time, everybody, doses!
Oh my God, these feelings just begun.
All right, who should I rate out to?
Things I've never said, doing things I've never done. Oh my God.
All right, who should I rate out to? Are you staying live?
Tells me to stop feelings I feel about us.
Gotcha.
Try to fight it, but it's never enough. My heart is hurting, it's more than a crush. Cause I'm frozen in motion, and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes. Cause my heart goes. Oh my God, can't believe what I've become. I'm thinking things I shouldn't think, singing songs I've never sung. Oh my God, when I see you I should run. But I'm frozen in motion, and my head tells me to stop. Tells me to stop feelings I feel about us. Try to fight it, but it's never enough. My heart is hurting, it's more than a crush. Cause I'm frozen in motion, and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes. Cause my heart goes. But my heart goes. Cause my heart goes. My head and my heart. My head and my heart. I can tell them apart. Tell me to run, but I can't. Cause my heart goes.